welcome back. In today's video, let's discuss the topic immunity, and it is the topic from 2nd PUC syllabus, chapter Human Health and Disease. And if you ask me what exactly immunity is the ability of an organism to resist or eliminate the harmful disease-causing microorganisms. This is the standard definition for immunity. Let me repeat. What is immunity? Ability of an organism to resist or eliminate the harmful disease-causing microorganisms. And by birth itself, we are gifted with this power called immunity, because of which we are exempted from most of the diseases. And if you look here, the word immunity is derived from a Latin word, that is immunis. Immunis means to exempt. It is very clear. Having this power called immunity, we are exempted from many diseases, because in our everyday life, every now and then, we are subjected to infection of most of the harmful microorganisms. But every microorganism which enters our body cannot cause disease in our body, because we are gifted with a power called immunity. And to offer us immunity, we have a special system in our body that is called immune system. So the study of immunity and immune system together called immunology. So what is immunology? It is the study of immunity and immune system together called immunology. And we have to remember this name. Edward Jenner, popularly known as father of immunology. And if you remember, the pioneer of vaccination, that is Dr. Edward Jenner, the first vaccine for the disease smallpox was created by Dr. Edward Jenner, and he is popularly known as father of immunology. And when we look into types of immunity, immunity can be of two types, that is innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate immunity is otherwise called inborn immunity. Name is very clear. The immunity which we get by our birth itself, inborn, is called innate immunity. And whatever the immunity or immune responses we develop after the birth, that is called acquired immunity, which is otherwise called adaptive immunity. So let me repeat the definition for immunity. What is immunity? It is the ability of an organism to resist or eliminate the harmful disease-causing microorganisms. And we the humans are gifted with this power called immunity by our birth itself. And when we look into types of immunity, basically it is categorized into innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate immunity is otherwise called inborn. Students should remember, immunity what we get by our birth itself is called innate immunity, and whatever the immunity developed after the birth throughout the life of an organism is called acquired immunity, which is also called adaptive immunity. Now let us look into the details of innate immunity, and I already told you what is innate immunity. The immunity which we get by our birth itself is called innate immunity. And let us know the other names of innate immunity. Innate immunity is otherwise called non-specific immunity, because it is the immunity which can fight against any kind of microorganism. Means it is not specific for any particular type of microbe. It offers us resistance against any type of microbe, and it shows its action against all the types of harmful microbes which are entering our body. That's why it is called non-specific immunity. And students also should remember, it is never dependent on immunological memory. That is very important here. Innate immunity is non-specific because it is never dependent on immunological memory. And it is also called gifted immunity, because by birth itself we are gifted with this power. So that's why it is called gifted immunity. And to offer us innate immunity by our birth itself, we are having 4 types of barriers in our body. Name itself indicates. These structures act as barriers for harmful disease-causing microorganisms. And these 4 types of barriers naturally offer us which type of immunity? Innate immunity. And what are these 4 types of barriers? If you look into it, physical barriers, physiological barriers, cellular barriers and cytokine barriers. So these are the four types of barriers which we naturally have in our body. They act as barrier for what? For the entry of harmful disease causing microbes into our body. And what are the physical barriers? Here I have written the examples. Skin and mucous membranes of the body. Outermost covering of the skin is actually called stratum corneum, which always prevents the entry of many harmful microbes into inner tissues of our body. So outermost layer of the skin acting as a physical barrier for harmful microbes. And if any microbe tries to enter our body through the general and common openings, and most of our systems like respiratory tract, excretory tract, etc. are internally lined by mucous membranes. So this mucous membrane also trap the harmful microorganisms which are trying to enter our body. So in this way, outermost layer of the skin and mucous linings of different body systems, they act as physical barriers for harmful microorganisms. And next, physiological barrier. If any microbe crosses the physical barrier and if it tries to enter the body, then next level of defense comes into function, that is called physiological barrier. So according to textbook, the best examples for physiological barriers are the lysozyme present in our saliva and it is also present in our tears. If students remember, lysozyme is the antibacterial enzyme which is naturally present in our saliva and it is also present in the tears. So that's why these microbes which are present in the food are going to be destroyed by this enzyme which is naturally present in our saliva. And if any microbes tries to attack our eyeball, lacrimal glands naturally produce the tears and tears also naturally contain the enzyme lysozyme. And next example is HCl present in the gastric juice. As we all know, the digestive juice produced in the stomach is called gastric juice by the gastric glands, which is rich in HCl. This HCl also kills the harmful microbes present in the food. So that's why lysozyme and HCl. Lysozyme is present in what? Saliva and tears, and HCl present in the gastric juice are the best examples for physiological barriers. And next, cellular barriers. If any microbe crosses physical barrier and physiological barrier, when it enters our body, then in our blood, naturally we have cells called phagocytes. If you remember, in our blood, two types of phagocytic cells are present, which are microphages and macrophages. Neutrophils are called microphages, monocytes are called macrophages. They engulf these foreign microbes which enter our blood, and on engulfing they digest it and they make our body tissues free of infection. So engulfing solid particles by a cell is called phagocytosis, and this function is performed by two types of cells present in our blood, that is neutrophils and monocytes. Remember, neutrophils are called microphages, monocytes are called macrophages. And finally, the fourth type of barrier, that is cytokine barrier. What are cytokines? Definition is like this. Cytokines are the low molecular weight proteins which act as signaling molecules. This is the standard definition. And in our immune system, two types of cytokines are produced, namely IFN stands for interferon and ILN stands for interleukin. So interferons are the cytokines produced by viral infected cells of our body, and whereas interleukins are the cytokines produced by type of leukocyte. So that's why they are called interleukins. But students should remember, what are cytokines? These are the low molecular weight proteins which are naturally present in the blood, and they act as signaling molecules in between different tissues and different cells of our body. So two types of cytokines are interferons and interleukins. So with this, it is very clear, by birth itself we are gifted with four types of barriers, namely physical barriers, physiological barriers, cellular barriers and cytokine barriers. which together offer us which type of immunity? Innate immunity. And remember, innate immunity is never dependent on immunological memory. That's why it is called non-specific immunity. As we are gifted with this immunity by birth itself, it is also called gifted immunity. Now let us look into the details of acquired immunity. I already told you what is acquired immunity. The immunity which is developed after the birth throughout the life of an organism is called acquired immunity. And acquired immunity always depends on immunological memory. It means that after your birth, if a foreign antigen called A enters your body, your immune system develops immunological memory against A. When the same A enters your body for the second time, you are not going to show symptoms of the disease. But if the foreign organism called B enters your body, this acquired immunity cannot show the response now, because it is having memory only against what in that example A, but it is not having any memory against B. So who fights against B again? Innate immunity. That's why it is non-specific. But acquired immunity is always called specific immunity, because acquired immunity is always based on previous memory, that is immunological memory. And acquired immunity can be classified into actively acquired immunity and passively acquired immunity. So what is actively acquired immunity? Answer is the immune response which is developed due to antigenic stimulus. So any kind of immune response which is developed due to antigenic stimulus is called active immunity. And if the immune response is developed due to transfer of antibodies, such type of immunity is always called passive. So here only many students confuse. No confusion. First you have to concentrate on this. What is active acquired immunity? Any immune response which is developed due to antigenic stimulus is said to be active. Any immune response developed due to transfer of antibodies is called passive acquired immunity. And we can further classify active immunity into natural and artificial, and similarly passive immunity also can be classified into natural and artificial. So how do I read it now? Natural active acquired immunity, artificial active acquired immunity, like this. And I already told you what is active acquired immunity. Immune response generated due to antigenic stimulus. If antigen naturally attacks your body, or if antigen naturally enters your body and you develop an immune response, that is called natural active acquired immunity. Or if the antigen is artificially injected into your body and you develop an immune response, that is called artificial active acquired immunity. With example it becomes very clear. The resistance against smallpox. Resistance against smallpox is the best example for natural active acquired immunity. You know, smallpox is a viral disease. It is caused by variola virus. When smallpox causing virus enters our body and our immune system develops memory against it, that is the reason, as you all know, if we suffer from smallpox once in our lifetime, usually we do not suffer from smallpox again. It is purely because of which type of immunity? Natural active acquired immunity. And artificial active acquired immunity, I was telling you, when antigen is artificially injected, here you may get the doubt, why antigens are artificially injected? Not the normal antigens, but the antigen whose disease causing ability is killed by a process called attenuation. Such heat killed or attenuated antigens are injected into our body in the form of what? Vaccines. So today we know many vaccines we are taking and we are getting resistance against many diseases. If the question is asked, a person has taken vaccine for typhoid, what type of immunity is going to get? He is definitely going to get which type of immunity here? Artificial active acquired immunity, because antigen, attenuated form of antigen is artificially injected and person has developed immune response. So with this it is very clear, vaccination is an example for artificial active acquired immunity. Resistance against smallpox is the best example for natural active acquired immunity. Passive acquired immunity, I already told you, the immune response which is developed due to the entry or transfer of antibodies is called passive acquired immunity. Once again, passive acquired immunity is also classified into natural and artificial. So, natural passive acquired immunity, the best example, transfer of IgA antibodies from mother to newborn babies. How it occurs? It occurs, as you all know, the word colostrum. Colostrum is the milk produced by mother during initial few days of lactation is called colostrum, and this colostrum is always rich in which type of antibodies? IgA type of antibodies. So, after the birth, during initial few days of lactation, when mother naturally breastfeeds the baby, IgA antibodies present in colostrum or naturally enters the body of newborn baby, and newborn baby develops resistance against some diseases. So, this is the best example for natural passive acquired immunity. And finally, artificial passive acquired immunity. Here are the best examples. ATS. ATS stands for anti-tetanus serum, and it is the blood serum containing antibodies against what? Tetanus disease. Tetanus is a bacterial disease caused by Clostridium tetani. So if you want to get resistance against tetanus, blood serum containing antibodies is injected, and these antibodies offer you resistance against which disease? Tetanus. That's why that serum is called anti-tetanus serum. And similarly, I have written one more example, anti-venom. When snake bites a person, if that person is taken to hospital, doctor will inject the blood serum containing antibodies in it, and that is called anti-venom. Usually anti-venoms are prepared from horse blood serum, and in this horse blood serum, what are present there? Antibodies which can resist the action of snake venom are present. That is processed antibodies which are artificially created there. So now when anti-venom is injected into the body of a person who is suffering from a snake bite, and snake has injected its venom, that is antigen, and we are introducing what? Antibodies artificially, and now that person develops resistance against what? Snake venom. So anti-tetanus serum and anti-venom are the best examples for artificial passive acquired immunity. With this it is very clear. Let me repeat, what is acquired immunity? It is the immunity developed by a person after the birth throughout lifetime is called acquired. It always depends on immunological memory. Person may develop resistance against disease because of antigenic stimulus or by the transfer of antibodies. If it happens by antigens, it is called active. If it is because of antibodies, it is called passive. And further it is classified into what? Natural active acquired, artificial active acquired. Similarly, natural passive acquired, artificial passive acquired. So these examples are very important, especially in competitive exams like NEET, etc. Questions are asked like this. Mother breastfeeds the newborn baby, and newborn baby gets IgA antibodies. Which type of immunity baby is going to get? Answer is going to be what now? Natural passive acquired. Similarly, a person has taken vaccine for so and so disease. That person develops which type of immunity? That is artificial active acquired. Like that we can answer the questions when you understand this topic. So in this video I explained you what exactly immunity and what are the types of immunity and what are the structures we are gifted with, we have in our body, and in how many ways we are getting resistance against various diseases. Thank you.